Hello everybody, welcome to your EFL Championship hot takes for round 33. I've been through the action and I think I've got 3 of them for you. First hot take is, even if you have the greatest defensive record in the history of the Championship, if you can't win a tight game, you're probably not going to get automatically promoted. We'll be talking about Sheffield United versus Burnley in that regard in the promotion picture. Second hot take is that Blackburn probably have the most resilient squad of players over this past couple of weeks. The managers walked out, they've won back-to-back games and reinforced themselves as a potential playoff candidate. They're back up in to 5th position. My third hot take, well, part of it's not actually a hot take, part of it's objective fact. That is the bottom 8 teams are performing above what we would expect them to do, and the middle 8 teams are performing below what we would expect them to do. Therefore, do we get some kind of high tide at the bottom where somebody is relegated with 48, 49 or even 50 points? Could it happen for the second season running? Let's get into it. Please get in the comments, especially if you were at an EFL Championship game yesterday for round 33. Guys, that is 71% of the season complete. I know we will still get the "it's too early to say ... brigade, but if this championship season was a week, it's Thursday now, guys. It's not too early to say anything, and it's not too early to say well done to Sheffield United, who are at round 33, yes, with the caveat of that big game we're about to talk about, our top of the league table. And we're going to talk about being hard to beat versus being able to win tight games. That is a big theme with these two clubs. And Sheffield United are able to win tight games. 1-0. They won at Luton. They did it with a centre-back score. And I think in the 81st minute, Ahmedhodzic has scored in consecutive games for the Blades, who have won 22 games this season. By the way, Luton were promoted as playoff winners after 46 games with only 21 wins. Sheffield United are winning and have won a hell of a lot of games this season. By the way, they have won 12 of those 22 games by the odd goal. Now, lots of people said this about my team, Ipswich, who won a ton of games by the odd goal last season. Oh, look, they're lucky. They're winning tight games. No, teams that repeatedly win tight games, very much like late goals and deflected goals, it's not normally luck when you consistently win tight games in football. And Sheffield United have been very, very much able to do that. We're going to compare with Burnley. They have won 5 games more than Burnley, Sheffield United, and they are 5 points ahead of the Clarets. We'll mention Sunderland and Leeds in relation to this in a minute. 7 wins out of 8 for Sheffield United. Yes, I'm going to damn you with faint praise, Sheffield United. We are sitting here at the moment saying, oh, Leeds are purring. They're playing beautifully. 18 goals without reply, and they look really fantastic, don't they? And Sheffield United are just clawing their way there. They're just getting the job done by force of will. It doesn't matter how you do it, because right now at that table I'm looking at, Sheffield United have got more points than Leeds. So don't take that as an insult. Sheffield United are fighting their way towards automatic promotion this season. Chris Wilder is doing a fantastic job. Another win for the Blades, who were most definitely the big winners this round. And depending on what happens on Monday night, this could be a key round. Look, it's going to be a key round whatever happens. It could be a key round for Sheffield United if the result on Monday goes their way. It can't really go wrong because they have already won. Let's talk about Burnley now. Let us know if you're a Sheffield United fan, especially if you were at the game at Luton yesterday. Now, Burnley drew 0-0 at Preston, and I covered this in the watch-along. So, I have talked about every moment of this game in a 2.5-hour watch-along video. So, if you want my detailed thoughts on it, they are over there. You can go and pause this video and click on that one. My abridged thoughts are Burnley should have won the game. They did enough to win, but they are not winning tight games at the moment. Contrary to what the panel said on Sky TV, and I've worked with Courtney and I've worked with Luke Chambers as well. I didn't agree with them. I did think that should have been a penalty at the end of the game. Don't be distracted by somebody touching the ball. It kind of doesn't matter. And I thought it was a foul. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but I thought Burnley should have had a penalty at the end. I thought it was a foul regardless of whether the fact that the ball was touched by the defender. That doesn't really make any odds to me. But there you go. You can debate that in the comments. It doesn't matter because it didn't get given. And also, guys, I'm not touching this with a barge pole. I do not know what Osmajic said to Hannibal. Hannibal was very, very upset. Only those guys know. And that's not me trying to play down a potential hot button issue. That's me saying that I need to know what happened before I accuse somebody of anything. And it's going to be a difficult investigation for the EFL there on what was probably the most controversial part of the game. Look, regardless of all of that stuff, penalties not given rightly or wrongly, and something being said that enraged somebody, and Burnley and Lyle Foster particularly missing chances. Yes, it's a 24th clean sheet. Unbelievable. Yes, it's 20 games unbeaten. But all of the things I just said about Sheffield United winning tight games and getting the job done, Burnley aren't quite doing that at the same level. Hence, this 5-point gap I'm looking at on the table with 13 games to play. That is a 14th draw. Sheffield United have drawn 6 games and lost 3 more and have 5 points more. So you do the math. An 11th 0-0 draw as well, which, as much as we can praise the brilliant defensive work, Egan Riley, amazing block on Osmajic. Foster, who missed the chances, brilliant block on Kessler-Hayden. The head it, kick it stuff and the team stuff. They are defending magnificently, but something's amiss if you're drawing 11 games 0-0. And right now, there's not really any doubt looking at the league table, Sheffield United's ability to win games and to win tight games is going to be the difference right now. It could change. Sheffield United could start drawing and Burnley could start winning, and we'll say there was a moment where it turned and that was the difference. But right now, it's going in Sheffield United's favour because of that factor. Get your thoughts in via the comments if you are a Burnley fan, a Sheffield United fan, on all of that. And it is the mouth-watering match. For some reason, my slideshow is not working over there. There we go. We press the button and bring up the Leeds and Sunderland badge because on Monday night, I'll be doing the watch-along. Leeds versus Sunderland could be a massive weekend. If Leeds win, and they're very, very good at home, it is +7 then for Leeds down to Burnley and +10 to Sunderland. If Leeds win, I'm just asking, is it a top 3 then, not a top 4? 13 games to go. Are Sunderland making 10 points up on Leeds? I suppose they don't have to get second place, do they? But we're still looking at a, what will it be, an 8-point gap to Sheffield United. What we do know is right now, if Leeds win this game on Monday, that splits the top 4, doesn't it? We've almost got 2 and 2. And yeah, it can take only a couple of games to fix it back up, but the games are running out. I'll repeat my analogy, 71% of the season gone. If this championship season is a week, it is Thursday, okay? And you've got to get your stuff done before Sunday rolls in and Monday comes and it's a new week beginning, if you take my analogy. Sunderland, if they win, compacts the top 4. And instead of having that 10-point gap, we have a 5-point gap. If Sunderland, I mean, you answer this. I know lots can happen, especially over Easter and things of that nature. But if Sunderland do lose this game, I don't know. Is that Leeds out of the picture? It would be -4 if they win the game. They would be 66 and Leeds would be... they'd be 65, tied with Burnley, and Leeds would be 69. And it compacts it all up. If you are a neutral fan, you probably want it all compacted for a brilliant 4 teams in the title race. Interestingly, I wonder what Sheffield United fans think about this. Do they kind of want Leeds to just put Sunderland away and have them done and just have Burnley to get by? Or do they want the chaos of 4 teams potentially all taking points off one another? Who knows? Who cares probably for fans of all 4 of these teams? They just want one of those top 2 positions and a place in the Premier League at the end of the season. It's going to be a brilliant, brilliant game. Check out the predictions with Sam as well to see what he and I have said. And check out the watch along. We'll be live on Monday night, probably from 7:45 or something. Once I've put Enid to bed. Get your thoughts in the comments. Leeds and Sunderland fans, what are you thinking about this giant clash? Let's get into the playoff race. I've already called Blackburn's players the most resilient in the league. Incredible back-to-back wins since John Eustace has gone. And my argument was that they were only in their league position because of John Eustace, but they're winning without him at the moment. Well done, David Lowe. I asked Sam Parkin about this on the Championship Check-In podcast. And he said, Ben, they can't just ride it out with a caretaker manager. They've got to bring somebody in to manage this last 13 games. What an opportunity potentially for someone to come in, and they've got a team sat there in 5th position. Yes, I am still thinking it is a low standard, but the standard has improved. I think Blackburn in 5th a couple of games back were projecting like 67. They are now projecting 71 because 3 wins in 4 for Blackburn. They beat Plymouth 2-0, by the way, to Dave Forshaw and Dolan with the goals and the backflip. Blackburn, 9 points in the last 4. And this tells you everything you need to know about the standard. Got pen on my fingers. Every time I do this, I write my notes in felt tip pen. I'm sat here with ink all over myself. Terrible, isn't it? 9 points in the last 4. 8 points in the previous 10. So you can see it's a quick turning of the corner, and that's put them back into 5th place. So the standard is rising. They're now projecting 71 points. What on earth are they going to do about the managerial position? Is it a short-term hire? You know my thoughts on this, that I don't think it matters who finishes in 5th and 6th because someone in 3rd and 4th is going to win the playoffs. But anything can happen in tournament football, can't it? Unlikely, but with that gap, what is the gap at the moment? It's down to 11 points. Just the 11 between 4th and 5th, with Sunderland having a very hard game at Leeds on Monday. Get your thoughts in on Blackburn. Get your thoughts in on Coventry. We've talked about a low standard this season to get into 5th or 6th position. We've talked about Coventry underperforming and having a very, very decent squad, you know, maybe along with Norwich and Middlesbrough, the best squad outside the parachute teams. And Norwich and Middlesbrough are not necessarily in form. We're not going to be talking about them this one. We might talk about Middlesbrough actually a little bit when we talk about Watford. But Coventry are sticking together a really nice winning run. And this was key, wasn't it? They go away to Sheffield United and win the game 2-1 with a late goal from Ellis Sims. It's a horrible mistake from Beadle in goal for Sheffield Wednesday. But Coventry are on that kind of run at the moment where these things are happening. Remember Aston Villa on their 10-game winning streak, winning really late at Sheffield Wednesday and kind of nicking it at the last. I agree with Frank Lampard in his post-match that, scoring late goals isn't just luck, even if the keeper does drop it. You've got to be in games and you've got to be there to win them, haven't you? They started this round 2 places below Sheffield Wednesday, who are a clear rival there, and they've won away at clear rival and now 2 places above Sheffield Wednesday. 6 wins in the last 7. Only Leeds in that run have beaten that. They were well beaten by Leeds, but that's not the real quiz at the moment for Coventry. It's just, can you accumulate, 1.8, 1.7 will probably do it for the rest of the season, given, unless someone goes on a run, given what we're considering a low standard to get those bottom 2 playoff spots. In that run of 7 games, they've taken 9 or 10 points out of those key rivals. So it's so heavily swung in Coventry's favour recently. The door has been opened by teams around them not really winning. They've put together the winning run and what are they? 1 point off the playoffs as we speak. And we'd written them off. They should be out of it by now, but the door is open because potentially you can get in the playoffs with 69, 70, 71, a lower total than we would normally expect. So well done, Coventry. They're the ones who are running towards that open door. Get your thoughts in the comments. Coventry fans, especially if you're at the game yesterday, of course. Watford won at Middlesbrough. And I don't want to sit here and typically make this story all about Middlesbrough, although we do have to talk about Middlesbrough because, I predicted they'd win this game. I didn't think Watford would go to Middlesbrough and win. They've won 1 in their previous 11. Watford, all the pressure on Tom Cleverley going into the game. They've nicked the win, set play goal, and it's almost like as Watford pass Middlesbrough in the table, Tom Cleverley has taken the managerial hot potato headlines, most under pressure, whatever you want to call it, and tossed it to Michael Carrick and said, there you go, mate, you're now the most under pressure manager in the Championship. So well played, Watford. Look, I'll say no more about Watford. I know they're still, 3 points off the playoffs, but the form at the moment, they're just going to want to stay in the top half and reset this horrible run. Like I said, 1 win in 11 in all comps before then. So, well played, Watford. I will talk about Middlesbrough, though, because, as I said, Middlesbrough, Coventry, Norwich, good squads outside the parachute teams. They're the teams that have built stars, sold stars, and been able to spend money building a really, really decent squad. And Michael Carrick is not getting a tune out of that squad at the moment. That is 4 defeats in a row, 5 defeats in 6. But yet again, I will reiterate it. It is a low standard. If you want to get 6th place or 5th place right now, and Middlesbrough are only 4 points off. So any of these teams, right the way down, even to bloody Preston in 15th, who are 7 points off. Anyone goes on a crazy run, wins 8 games in 11 or something like that, are probably going to be right there in and amongst it. So I'm not writing Middlesbrough off yet, but Michael Carrick is under pressure. Should, I think, be getting more out of a decent squad there. QPR, I believe Marty Cifuentes is getting quite a lot out of his squad here. Ilias Chair on fire on Friday night. John Eustace only had 1 session on the grass with Derby, and it showed QPR smashed them 4-0. Biggest win of the season since 27th of November. That is 17 games. So that is what? Around a third of a championship season. QPR are the 3rd best team in the league. 1.94 points per game. If we roll that out for the remainder of the season, they just keep doing what they've been doing since the back end of November. They're going to hit 69 points. And as I've said, that is going to be close. We looked at it, didn't we, in the playoff video we did, and the markets and the bookies weren't necessarily interested in QPR. I don't think they've got as good a squad. I'm like a broken record here, as Norwich, Middlesbrough or Coventry and West Brom and Blackburn have got the points advantage up there in 5th and 6th. Got a very good manager though, haven't they, QPR? And they've got stability, even though they started the season badly. You know, this is coming up, 18 months with Cifuentes, or it will be by the end of the season. And will the continuity be the difference? Really liking that from QPR. Can they keep it moving? And we always used to say, remember the days of Chair and Willock at QPR? We used to say, if those two play well together at the same time, under Mark Warburton, wasn't it? They've got some kind of a chance, haven't they? And Chair, back to his best. Can he keep QPR on that 1.94 points per game run that they've been on since 27th of November? Get your thoughts in. If you're a QPR fan, we're going into the kind of bottom 10. We've only got 2 winners to talk to you about. One of them is Pompey, who won 2-0 at Oxford in a game that was a League One match last season. First away EFL win since October, when they actually won at QPR, before QPR had gone on that excellent run, or improved run, that we were talking about. Back-to-back wins, and this is where I'm going to get into my 3rd hot take here, that the bottom 8, apart from 3 teams, and I'll name them at the end, are performing better than you would expect. You don't have normally the bottom 8 all knocking out more than a point per game at a time, and 5 of the bottom 8 have been doing that over the past 8 games. So the form lines are with a trend up from the bottom 8. Portsmouth are a big part of that, 13 points in the last 8 for Pompey. Who got the goals today? Dazelle, I can't remember who pinched the second one for Pompey, but they got the job done. The comments are probably screaming at them. Be the first one to type that in there for me. And 19 games from the 9th of November, the form for Portsmouth would land them at 54 points. The whole season, even with that dreadful start for Pompey, where, to be fair, they played the top 8 teams as their first 8 games or something like that, didn't they? Even the whole season projects Pompey coming out at 50 points. And we've mentioned a few times on the channel, the attacking players for Pompey with Murphy and Lang and Bishop, Ritchie, those lads up top, could be the difference for Pompey, who right now are not looking like they're going to go down, are they? 36 points. They are 7 above the relegation zone. Well done, John Messinio, because there's a lot of, especially, remember that 6-1 against Stoke, who we were about to talk about. A lot of people kind of, saying, oh, this isn't going to work. He can't do it at the championship level. Well, he's doing it. There you go. Be patient with managers. So, very cold hot take from me. Stoke, big win. They beat Swansea 3-1 today. Lovely, fun goal from Lewis Baker to make it 3-1 from miles and miles out. They've got the camera behind him and looks like it's going wide, and it just lands in the back of the net. A really important win for Stoke, who have won 2 out of 3. And this, again, bumps up the narrative of what I'm saying about teams in the bottom 8. We expect to just see all, 1 point per game, a few of them, the rest of them below it all struggling and slowly pootling along. No. So really, really good win for Stoke. We think Mark Robins, in terms of just game management, is going to pull another few of those out. And let's be frank about it, if he pulls another 3 wins out, that's 44 points. And what are you going to do with your other 11 games? You tell me. Another team that's projecting 50 points as well. And another team that are, 6 points off the relegation zone. Did I say Portsmouth? Portsmouth's a 7 off. Stoke are 6 off. Anyway, let me talk about this last hot take about the fact that the bottom 8, in terms of projecting a high tide, are outperforming what we'd expect, and the middle 8 are not really near what we'd expect. So if you, I love my extrapolations, don't I? If you look at someone chasing for the playoffs, 1.5 points per game takes you to 69 by the end of the season, which shouldn't normally get you to playoffs, but you'll be close. You might be really close this season. Only one of the middle 8 teams, so from Sheffield Wednesday in 9th down to Oxford in 16th, only one of those teams is above 1.5 points per game for the last 8 games. That is QPR, who have got 15. Millwall and Preston have both got 1.5 points per game, which is obviously 12. And then Oxford, Norwich, Middlesbrough, Watford and Sheffield Wednesday are all below that total. So it feels very much like, look, the top 4 are beating everybody. It then feels like the points are kind of coming out of the middle a little bit, where those teams aren't really winning in the way we should. And they're going into the bottom 8, where, as we've mentioned, 5 out of the 8 teams have got above 1 point per game. Portsmouth with 13, for God's sake, over the last 8. Stoke and Cardiff with 10. Plymouth with 9. Hull with 8. Now, I get someone in the comments will probably say, yeah, Ben, if 5 out of the bottom 8 are under that, then won't just those 3 go down? Well, that's a reasonable argument, apart from the fact that one of them is Swansea, who have already got 37 points and are unlikely to go down. So either we'll get 2 teams adrift at the moment, which is Derby and Luton, but there's still an argument that Luton have got a good squad and they could trend up. Can we have a John Eustace trend up for Derby as well? So you could then have somebody stuck in a very unlucky 22nd place, like it was Birmingham last season, wasn't it? Where you're the unlucky loser, 50 points. There you go. Look, 27, 45, 50 for Birmingham, and they went down with that total last season. So we shall see whether that high tide permeates at the bottom of the division. There you go. Those are your championship hot takes for round 33. Advantage Sheffield United, where we are deciding that even if you've only conceded 9 goals and you've had 24 clean sheets and 11 clean sheets in a row, it's not going to be enough, Burnley, to get your automatic promotion, because Sheffield United are winning tight games. We talked about Blackburn and their massive resilience. They are the nicest guy in jail, if you like that analogy. They are the top of a low standard, with Coventry coming very, very quickly up on their shoulders there in 7th place. And do you agree with me? Down at the bottom, could someone be a very, very, very unlucky loser like Birmingham were last season and land in 22nd place with 50 points or more? Imagine that. The bottom 8 currently doing more than we would expect, and the middle 8 currently doing less than we would expect. Get involved in the comments. We'll link something up there, maybe the last championship check-in with Sam. And check out the watch-along. We will be live on Monday night for a massive game between Leeds United and Sunderland that will either split the top 4 or compact the top 4. Thanks for watching.